Welcome back to G Fun Facts Online. Today, we are abandoning the surface world. We are descending past the sunlight zone, past the twilight zone, into the pitch-black expanse of the ocean's midnight zone. Here, where the pressure is crushing and the temperature hovers near freezing, a phantom drifts. It is a creature that defies the established laws of its biological family, a riddle wrapped in a gelatinous enigma that stumped scientists for over 20 years. For decades, it was whispered about in the control rooms of deep-sea submersibles, simply as the mystery mollusk. But now it finally has a name: Bathydevius caudactylus. This is the story of the most significant deep-sea nudibranch discovery of the century. It is a story about a bioluminescent predator that has rewritten the textbooks on marine biology, a creature that evolved a hood like a Venus flytrap, and an animal that mastered the art of living light to survive in the largest, least explored habitat on Earth. Let us go back to where this mystery began. The year was 2000. The location was the swaying deck of a research vessel floating miles off the coast of Monterey Bay, California. Beneath the hull, the remotely operated vehicle, or ROV, named Tiburon, was descending into the abyss. Its cameras were beaming live high-definition video back to the scientists in the control room. Deep-sea exploration is often hours of what researchers call blue water. It is empty, particulate-filled darkness. But on this specific dive, at a depth of 614 meters, or roughly 576 feet, the lights of the ROV illuminated a form that made the seasoned pilots and biologists hit the brakes. At first glance, it looked like a child's drawing of a sea creature. It was roughly the size of an apple, translucent and ghostly. It had a massive, billowing hood at one end and a flat, paddle-like tail fringed with finger-like projections at the other. Suspended in the middle were brightly colored internal organs, seemingly floating in a glass case. The most confusing part was its movement. It was not crawling on the seafloor like a proper sea slug. It was swimming, undulating with a slow, hypnotic rhythm through the open water column. The question echoing in the control room was simple: what is that? It possessed the muscular foot of a snail, suggesting it was a mollusk. Yet, it swam like a jellyfish and hunted like a plant. It fit no known profile. The scientists at the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, or MBARI, led by Bruce Robeson and Stephen Haddock, dubbed it the Mystery Mollusk. It would take 2 decades, over 150 sightings, and the advent of advanced genetic sequencing to fully understand what they were looking at. They discovered that this was not just a new species, it was an entirely new family of animal. To understand why Bathydevius caudactylus is so revolutionary, we have to look at what a nudibranch typically is. Nudibranchs, or sea slugs, are usually the jewels of the ocean floor. They are benthic creatures, meaning they spend their lives crawling over rocks, coral reefs, and sand. They are famous for their flamboyant colors and their grazing habits, typically feeding on sponges and anemones. But Bathydevius abandoned the floor. It evolved to live in the bathypelagic zone, the water between 1,000 and 4,000 meters deep. To do this, it shed the heavy benthic body plan for something lighter, something buoyant. Its anatomy is a masterclass in deep-sea adaptation. The most striking feature is its oral hood. Unlike the rasping tongues of its shallow-water cousins, this predator has evolved a cavernous, gelatinous bowl at its head. It is highly elastic, capable of expanding and contracting. This is not a passive organ. It is a weapon. The mollusk uses this hood to trap prey, snapping it shut in a mechanism strikingly convergent with the terrestrial Venus flytrap. At the posterior end lies the caudactylus, or the tail fingers. These are not merely decorative. They are flat, paddle-like projections that aid in propulsion, but they serve a far more sinister and brilliant purpose regarding defense, which we will discuss shortly. Because the animal is transparent, a common camouflage in the open ocean to avoid silhouetting against downwelling light, its internal anatomy is on full display. If you look closely at the footage, you can see the digestive gland, often tinged orange or red. This color comes from the pigments of the crustaceans it consumes. This transparency effectively makes the animal invisible to predators that lack bioluminescent searchlights. Speaking of light, let's talk about bioluminescence, the language of the deep. In a world without sun, life creates its own. While many deep-sea creatures glow, Bathydevius is unique among nudibranchs. It represents only the third known time bioluminescence has independently evolved in the nudibranch lineage. When threatened, the mystery mollusk does not just glow, it puts on a star show. Granules of luciferin, the light-producing molecule, are scattered across its hood and tail dactyls. When agitated, these granules ignite in a brilliant blue scintillating display. It looks like a galaxy swirling within the animal's tissue. But the true genius of its defense lies in a process called autotomy. Imagine a lizard dropping its tail to distract a hawk. Bathydevius takes this strategy to a pyrotechnic level. If a predator attacks, the mollusk can physically detach one of the glowing fingers from its tail. The severed digit continues to glow and wiggle, drifting away from the main body. The predator, drawn to the bright moving object, chases the decoy. Meanwhile, the now darkened mollusk silently swims away into the gloom. It is a masterclass in misdirection, a magic trick performed in the darkest theater on Earth. Now, let's look at how it survives. For years, the diet of the mystery mollusk was a matter of speculation. Did it filter feed? Did it graze on marine snow? The truth proved to be far more predatory. Bathydevius is a hunter of mysid shrimp. These are small, energy-rich crustaceans that dart through the midnight zone. The slug is not a fast swimmer, so it cannot outpace a shrimp. Instead, it relies on stealth and the element of surprise. It drifts, neutrally buoyant, with its massive oral hood open like a satellite dish. When a shrimp inadvertently swims into the danger zone, the hood snaps shut. The muscular contraction is rapid, trapping the prey inside a gelatinous prison. Once secured, the mollusk manipulates the prey toward its mouth, ingesting it whole. This feeding style is incredibly rare for sea slugs. While the shallow water genus Mellibe, known as the lion's mane nudibranch, also uses an oral hood, genetic analysis has confirmed that Bathydevius is not closely related to Mellibe. This is a textbook example of convergent evolution. It is two unrelated lineages evolving the same solution, a net-like hood, to solve the same problem of catching mobile prey in different environments. Perhaps the most poignant aspect of the mystery mollusk's life is its connection to the seafloor. It is a creature of the water column, a drifter in the void, but it cannot sever its ties to the bottom completely. Like all nudibranchs, Bathydevius is a hermaphrodite, possessing both male and female reproductive organs. While they live their adult lives floating thousands of meters above the bottom, they must descend to the abyss to reproduce. MBARI researchers have observed them anchoring themselves to the muddy seafloor using their muscular foot. This foot is a vestigial tool from their crawling ancestors, now repurposed as a mating anchor. There, in the stillness of the sediment, they lay ribbon-like egg masses. This behavior reveals a perilous migration. To spawn, the animal must leave the relative safety of the open water and descend into the benthic zone, where a completely different set of predators lurks. Once the eggs are laid, the parents likely return to the water column or perish, their biological duty fulfilled. The larvae that hatch are trochophores, microscopic swimmers that will eventually metamorphose into the gelatinous specters of the deep. When scientists finally secured a specimen and sequenced its genome, the results were startling. It did not fit into any existing box. It was not just a weird species of a known genus. It was distinct enough to warrant the creation of a new family, Bathydevidae. The name Bathydevius is derived from bathy, meaning deep, and devious, meaning devious or misleading. It is a nod to its deceptive nature that stumped taxonomists for 20 years. It appears that Bathydevius split off from the nudibranch family tree very early on. It is an evolutionary experiment that succeeded. A side branch that ventured into the open ocean and thrived while its cousins stayed on the rocks. This suggests that the deep sea has been a laboratory for soft-bodied experimentation for millions of years, hiding lineages that we are only just beginning to see. We cannot talk about Bathydevius without talking about the machines that found it. The midnight zone is hostile to human life. The pressure at 2,000 meters is over 900 pounds per square inch. The discovery was made possible by MBARI's fleet of ROVs, specifically the Tiburon and the dock rickets. These car-sized robots, tethered to the surface ship by fiber-optic cables, act as the eyes and hands of the scientists. They are equipped with 4K cameras to capture the subtle bioluminescence and transparency of the animal. Crucially, they utilize suction samplers. These are delicate vacuum cleaners designed to gently slurp up soft-bodied animals without destroying them. This was vital for Bathydevius, whose gelatinous body would disintegrate in a traditional trawl net. The existence of the mystery mollusk is a testament to the gentle approach to oceanography. In the past, deep-sea research involved dragging heavy nets across the bottom, bringing up buckets of crushed sludge. If Bathydevius had been caught in a net, it would have been a shapeless blob of jelly, unrecognizable and likely discarded. It took the precision of a robot pilot to recognize the swimming ghost and capture it intact. So why should we care about a glowing slug 3 miles down? First, it is a matter of biodiversity and evolution. Bathydevius proves that the deep sea is not just a desert of scavengers. It is a complex ecosystem with ancient lineages that have evolved unique adaptations. It challenges our understanding of how species move from the seafloor to the water column, known as the benthic-pelagic transition. Second, it plays a role in the carbon cycle. As a predator in the midwater, this mollusk eats crustaceans and eventually dies or defecates, helping transport carbon from the surface waters where the shrimp feed to the deep ocean, sequestering it. Finally, there is the aspect of conservation. The midnight zone is increasingly threatened by deep-sea mining and climate change. Acidification and deoxygenation are hitting deep waters. To protect these ecosystems, we first need to know what lives there. We cannot conserve what we do not know exists. The discovery of Bathydevius caudactylus is a humbling reminder of our ignorance. We have mapped the surface of Mars better than we have mapped the biology of our own oceans. For 20 years, this creature swam right under our noses, glowing in the dark, dropping its tail like a lizard, and hunting with a hood like a flower. It is a creature of paradoxes, a snail that swims, a slug that glows, a predator that looks like a ghost. As we continue to send our robotic avatars into the dark, one has to wonder, if a creature as large and distinct as the mystery mollusk could remain hidden until the 21st century, what else is out there? What other monsters, aliens, and phantoms are drifting in the cold, dark quiet of the midnight zone, waiting for the light of an ROV to reveal them? For now, the mystery mollusk drifts on, a bioluminescent ambassador from the last great frontier, lighting the way for the next generation of explorers. Thanks for listening to Fun Facts Online.